Chosen one, do not ignore the pull to distance yourself tonight. Do not brush off that quiet voice telling you to detach, to go silent, to pull your energy back. This isn't your usual tiredness. This isn't random. It's a warning. Tonight, your frequency is being watched. It is being weighed, and the universe is whispering. Protect it at all costs. Because what surrounds you in this moment is not what it seems. That familiar conversation, that text you almost replied to, that person you just wanted to check in on, it might not be them at all. What's moving through the world right now is energy that feeds on your light. Yes, chosen one. Your frequency tonight is like an open gateway, sensitive, glowing, exposed. And the thing about light, it attracts everything, even the shadows. So if you're feeling unusually drained, if you've had strange interruptions all day, if people you've outgrown suddenly want your attention again, it's not a coincidence, it's a test, a spiritual checkpoint, because something in the cosmic field tonight is shifting, and your name is on the contract. You may not have known it, but when you started healing, when you started elevating, detoxing, cutting cords, saying no, you signed a soul-level agreement to protect the frequency you now carry. And tonight, that frequency is too precious to be polluted. You feel it, don't you? That strange discomfort when someone walks into the room. That gut feeling when you see a name pop up on your screen. That invisible wall of static in the air. Like you're walking through fog and friction. Chosen one, your body knows before your mind understands. And what your spirit is trying to tell you now is clear. Step back. Disconnect. Stay clean. Because energy doesn't lie. And tonight, it's thick out there. This isn't about fear. It's about awareness. The energetic environment around you is heavier than usual right now because spiritual noise is louder, and your inner stillness is more valuable than ever. You may have noticed it even before this message found you. Difficulty focusing, unexpected arguments, dizziness, random waves of anxiety. It's all connected. There are energy leeches moving, looking for open fields. Not just people, but frequencies, unseen forces, echoes of old timelines trying to latch on. And you've been glowing, you've been rising, you've become visible in realms you didn't even know you entered. So tonight, the instructions are simple. Do not absorb. Do not engage. Do not explain. You're not being cold. You're not being rude. You're being wise. Every interaction you entertain right now is either feeding your alignment or draining it. And some of the people reaching out tonight, they aren't coming for connection. They're coming for access. Access to your attention. Access to your calm. Access to your light, but chosen one. You don't owe your frequency to anyone, especially not tonight. Because tonight is a cosmic seal. A moment where your frequency is being crystallized, upgraded into the next level. And negative energy, no matter how familiar, has no place in that process. That's why things feel weird. That's why conversations feel off. That's why you're craving silence. Because your soul knows this is not the time to share. And here's the truth. Few will say, not everyone is meant to go with you into this next chapter. Not every call deserves to be answered. Not every emotion needs to be expressed. Not every energetic pull is divine. Some are distractions dressed as urgency. Chosen one, You didn't come this far to get pulled back by a frequency you already outgrew. This is why the universe is whispering tonight. Protect the shift. Because there's something being woven for you, something fragile, potent, sacred, and for it to form properly, you must stay out of energetic entanglements. This means no responding out of guilt, no revisiting old stories, no just checking in out of habit, no posting online if your spirit feels unsettled. Instead, create space. Light a candle. Sit in stillness. Journal, breathe, cleanse. Because right now, silence is a shield, and absence is a form of alignment. You don't need to make an announcement. You don't need to explain your retreat. Your energy speaks loud enough. Let your vibration do the talking. And if part of you is worried about missing something, chosen one, trust this. Nothing meant for you will require you to abandon your peace. Let that guide you. Let that protect you. Because what's coming? It's too big to be built on a shaky foundation. And you've already done too much work to let someone else's storm undo your temple. Chosen one, there's something else you need to know. Right now, your vibration is sitting in a window of divine recalibration. These windows don't come often, but when they do, they change everything. It's as if the universe is silently laying out new pieces of your destiny, new contracts, new soul alignments, new inner instructions, and every yes you give to the wrong frequency delays the formation of what's meant to reach you. That's why you're feeling that tension, that urge to go quiet, that pull to step back, even from people you love. You're not being distant. You're being recalibrated. You're not pushing people away. You're holding space for your own return. See, every time you say yes to someone else's chaos, every time you let guilt override your intuition, every time you reply to something that doesn't align with the version of you that's emerging, you slow the signal. And tonight, that signal is crucial. Because the universe doesn't just speak in visions and miracles. It speaks in moments. And right now, you are inside one. A portal of sorts, unseen but real, asking only one thing from you. Stillness. Stillness so you can receive. Stillness so you can complete what's been spiritually incomplete. Stillness so you don't miss what's trying to arrive. Not externally, but within you. You've been asking for answers. You've been praying for clarity. You've been waiting for the next door. Chosen one, tonight is that door. But it won't open with noise. It won't respond to panic. It won't recognize distraction. It opens in the quiet. It opens when you choose yourself over everything that's been trained to steal your focus. That's why your phone feels heavier than usual tonight. That's why scrolling feels hollow. That's why talking feels draining. It's your spirit saying, I'm full. Let me breathe. There is a sacred intelligence inside you. One that doesn't speak in words, but in energy. And tonight, it's glowing. That glow is magnetic. But magnetism goes both ways. It attracts what's aligned and what's destructive. That's why the warnings are louder now. That's why spiritual warfare doesn't always look like chaos. Sometimes it looks like subtle invitations into old patterns. So the real battle tonight isn't external. It's energetic. And the real question is, will you choose to preserve your peace, even when it's tempting to break it? Because here's the truth. The wrong interaction tonight could reopen a cycle you've just closed. The wrong message could trigger an old wound that delays your healing. The wrong agreement could entangle you with timelines you no longer belong to. And it's not about fear. It's about frequency intelligence. The version of you watching this right now is already aware, already rising, already sacred. Your only task is to honor that knowing, not override it. So if the plan was to reply to that person, cancel it. If you were going to scroll until midnight, pause. If you were about to vent out loud or post online, don't. Protect this night. Protect this field. Because tonight is a spiritual delivery, and only those in full energetic awareness will receive what's arriving. Chosen one, let me leave you with this. You don't have to prove your growth. You don't have to justify your silence. You don't have to feel guilty for being unavailable to chaos. In fact, your absence is your ascension. You've spent lifetimes learning how to fight. Now it's time to learn how to preserve. Preserve your energy. Preserve your softness. Preserve your access. Because not everyone should have it. The days ahead will require you to make decisions from your higher self, not your wounded self. And what you practice tonight will become your blueprint for what's next. Stay tuned, Chosen One, because in Part 2, we'll dive into what happens spiritually if you ignore tonight's calling, the energy consequences of entertaining low-frequency interactions, how to activate your highest frequency in solitude, what the next 7 to 10 days will reveal about your path, the silent rewards of energetic loyalty to yourself. This is not over. This is only the midpoint. And if this message found you now, it's because you're in the exact right place, at the exact right time. So stay here, stay clear, stay sacred. The transmission continues in Part 2, and what's coming next might just explain everything you've been sensing. Chosen One, you stayed. You listened, and that silence you embraced last night? It just saved your future timeline from an unwanted detour, because the universe wasn't just watching your actions, it was watching your energy choices. And now, it's responding. See, most people think transformation happens in loud moments, in breakthroughs, big announcements, or massive shifts. But for the chosen ones, transformation is subtle, it's spiritual, it's unseen. It's in the moment. You don't respond. The message you don't send, the memory you don't reopen, the energy you don't entertain, even when it's familiar. That's why last night's silence mattered. It wasn't avoidance, it was alignment, because something bigger than you, something cosmic, was watching what you chose in the quiet. Were you willing to protect your glow, even when no one was watching? Were you brave enough to disconnect without explanation? Were you ready to act like the frequency you claim you carry? If you said yes, then you've already been marked. Marked as one of the few who can be trusted with the next level of energetic responsibility. And if you didn't? If you slipped, answered, reacted, spiraled? It's okay. There's still time. But the window is narrow, and the cost of low-frequency choices is rising. Because every time you give into noise, every time you say yes to a low-vibe invitation, every time you entertain chaos disguised as familiarity, you're not just wasting time. You're signing a new energetic contract, and some of those contracts bind you to frequencies you've already outgrown. Frequencies that block the flow of what the universe is ready to release to you. Chosen One, what the universe is lining up for you is too high frequency to flow through dirty channels. And last night was a filter test to see if you were willing to keep your channel clean. But here's the deeper truth. The real battle isn't even against other people. It's not about enemies or haters. It's about energetic patterns. Those loops, those familiar arguments, that person who knows exactly how to trigger you. The app you scroll mindlessly when your spirit is anxious. The feeling of maybe just this once, that's where the actual danger lies, because the enemy of your alignment isn't chaos, it's repetition. And until you break that loop, until you choose peace even when war is knocking, until you say no to the version of you that always says yes, you'll stay in a cycle that makes you think growth is hard, when in truth, you were always one decision away. Tonight's energy is still vibrating, and you still have a choice. Will you stay available to what drains you, or will you protect your access like the sacred energy it is? Here's a radical truth. Your silence is a prayer. Your no is a boundary. Your unavailability is your ascension. You are not required to explain your solitude to people who benefit from your imbalance. And right now, the universe is sending signals not to your mind, but to your spirit. You'll feel it in the form of random goosebumps, sudden chills, a knowing without proof, a sentence in a video that speaks directly to your situation, a wave of peace that shows up out of nowhere, confirming that you're on the right track. Chosen one, this isn't New Age fluff. This is frequency communication, because when your soul is aligned, you don't need signs. You become the sign, and those around you will sense it. They may not say it directly, but you'll notice it in the way. People fall away without a fight. Conversations feel lighter or heavier instantly. You're no longer interested in fixing what never respected your energy. This is what frequency clarity looks like. And once you taste it, once you feel the power of living above the noise, you'll never beg for chaos again. But there's something else coming. Something the universe will only deliver to those who pass this test of spiritual discipline. It's a restoration of inner vision. Not physical sight, but spiritual foresight. The ability to discern before deciding. The ability to feel energy before it's spoken. The gift of clarity before the damage is done and chosen one. That gift is being activated in you right now. But to receive it fully, there's one final step. Chosen one. The final step is not louder effort. It's quiet loyalty to your energy. See, everything that's meant for you is already in motion, but you won't see it if you're busy decoding chaos. You won't hear it if you're drowning in notifications. You won't receive it if your spiritual posture is slouched under the weight of someone else's projections. This is your moment of energetic maturity, because at this level, distractions don't just cost you time, they cost you divine timing. That message you almost replied to, that conversation you keep replaying in your mind, that low vibration habit you entertain when no one's watching, it's not about whether it's right or wrong. It's about whether it resonates with the frequency you're becoming. You are not the same. Even if your outer world hasn't caught up yet, your inner world knows the truth. You're shedding, you're refining, you're recalibrating to a level that demands spiritual cleanliness. And that's why the universe is being so loud about one thing right now. Avoid negative energy at all costs, because you are stepping into a version of yourself that cannot afford to be interrupted every time an old pattern knocks on the door. The spiritual realm is watching to see. Can you trust yourself in silence? Hatitis, can you say no even when it's uncomfortable? Satamisitiu, tiny keys. Can you delay comfort to protect your calling? If you can, you're not just chosen, you're ready. Ready for the opportunities that don't require begging. Ready for the connections that honor your boundaries. Ready for the life that reflects your frequency, not your fear. But let's talk about what happens if you don't heed this call. If you Entertain what you know is draining you. If you return to conversations that don't serve your evolution, if you keep letting your phone dictate your energy, you will notice sudden fatigue that won't go away. Mental fog even after rest, increased anxiety in familiar environments, random technology, malfunctions around you, dreams that feel like warnings. These aren't coincidences, they're spiritual alerts. Your higher self screaming, "This isn't it. Get out." But when you obey, when you stay off your phone, when you stay out of drama, when you keep your heart focused and your field clean, you step into a state called frequency purity. And in that state, you'll start to notice messages arriving in your spirit before they show up on your screen. New people approaching you with calm, respect, and spiritual resonance. A release of emotional weight you didn't even know you were carrying. A surge in creative energy and clarity of purpose. A sense of peace that doesn't need conditions. It just is. Chosen one. This is the version of you the universe has been waiting for. Not the perfect you, not the popular you, but the present, aware, and anchored you. The one who can stand in a storm and still protect their glow. Let this night be your statement to the cosmos that you are no longer at the mercy of chaos, that you don't need validation from a digital feed, that you are whole even in your solitude. Because here's the final truth. Your glow terrifies the low vibration, and that's why the attacks increase right before breakthrough. That's why the enemy sends distractions dressed as entertainment. That's why spiritual warfare now looks like harmless scroll time, but you're awake now, and once awakened, you cannot go back. The time for passive spirituality is over. This is embodied protection. This is active preservation. This is radical alignment. So tonight, and every night that follows, ask yourself this before you engage with anything or anyone. Does this protect my frequency or pollute it? Is this aligned with the person I'm becoming or the one I've outgrown? Would my higher self approve of this energy exchange? If the answer isn't a clear yes, then it's a sacred no. You are not selfish for protecting your glow. You are not mean for choosing peace. You are not distant. You are devoted to the version of you that's waiting on the other side of this obedience. So, unplug, detach, reclaim your rhythm, because what's forming in the background, unseen, untouched, divine, is only accessible to those who are clear enough to hold it. Chosen one, comment, "I'm ready," if this message met your spirit. Drop, Ladvan, if you're walking in alignment. Type 777 if you're claiming energetic. Breakthrough. And remember, this isn't just a video. This is a spiritual checkpoint, a coded reminder that your presence is the protection. You're not behind, you're not late, you're just in frequency transition. And that's why it feels so sacred, so sensitive, so serious right now. So take this moment as confirmation. You're doing better than you think. You're farther than you feel. And your glow, it's already being seen, even in rooms you haven't entered yet. Stay high, stay hidden, stay holy. And when the next message arrives, let your energy be so clean. It has no choice but to recognize you instantly. This transmission is complete, but the shift is only beginning. Subscribe if your soul is resonating. The next phase is coming, and you won't want to miss it. Chosen one, if you've made it this far, know this wasn't just another video. This was a cosmic transmission. And if it found you, it means your frequency is already shifting, or being called to. You didn't arrive here by chance. Your soul was guided here because it's finally time to take your energy seriously. No more second-guessing your intuition. No more explaining your boundaries to people who refuse to grow. No more giving out access to those who haven't earned presence. Tonight wasn't about fear. It wasn't about running away from people, phones, or the outside world. It was about coming home to your own power, your own alignment, your own center. See, too many chosen ones were taught to ignore their inner knowing. Be polite when their soul said, protect. To be available when their energy said rest. To engage when their spirit screamed, silence. But not you, not anymore. You are in a sacred season now, and in this season, spiritual discipline is spiritual protection. You can no longer afford to casually expose your energy to chaotic frequencies, not even in the name of love, loyalty, or curiosity. Because the truth is this: some energies aren't just low, they're intentional interruptions designed to delay your awakening. They come disguised as nostalgia, old friendships, familiar conversations, harmless scrolling, or late-night calls. But your spirit is smarter now. You feel the drain quicker. You see the distortion faster. You notice the pattern before it even plays out. That's not paranoia. That's evolution. And the more you honor that inner knowing, the more the universe will entrust you with divine timing. Chosen one, tonight wasn't about isolation, it was about activation. When you unplug from noise, you plug back into truth. When you silence the world, you amplify your spirit. When you disconnect from what's draining, you make room for what's divine. You're not just protecting your peace, you're protecting your purpose. You were not sent here to absorb everything. You were not sent here to fix every vibe. You were not sent here to entertain every message, every request, every ping. You were sent here to carry a frequency so high that it changes rooms before you even speak, that it opens doors no human hand could unlock, that it resonates across timelines and blesses generations. But to carry that frequency, you must clear your vessel, and that means saying no. A lot. It means ghosting noise. It means vanishing to the world so you can appear to your higher self. That may feel lonely, but that's only because most people around you aren't vibrating where you're going. They don't feel the internal pull you feel. They don't sense the urgency to disconnect. They don't hear the whisper in the silence calling you higher. But you do. You feel it in your bones. You hear it when everything else is quiet. You know it when the notifications stop and your heart speaks louder than the feed. And that knowing, that's your proof. That's your permission. That's your compass. So, chosen one, this is your reminder. You do not need to reply. You do not need to explain. You do not need to announce your exit. You are allowed to choose peace without performance. You are allowed to honor your glow in private. You are allowed to grow in silence and still be powerful. Because the true flex in this season is not being seen, it's being aligned. It's not going viral. It's vibrating higher. The ones who are truly chosen aren't loud. They're focused. They aren't everywhere. They're anchored. They aren't chasing. They're receiving. And you, yes, you reading this right now, are being called into that level of frequency mastery. So what do you do next? You trust your body. You protect your rest. You unplug when your spirit says, enough. You walk away when your higher self says, not this. You hold your glow even when it makes others uncomfortable. This isn't about arrogance. This is about assignment. This is about your divine responsibility to steward the energy. You've been gifted. You are the frequency carrier, the code holder, the light bearer. And the more you live like it, the more the universe will show you why you were chosen. Expect clarity. Expect confirmation. Expect next-level downloads in your quiet moments. Expect old doors to close and new dimensions to open. And when they do, don't second-guess them. Don't delay your obedience. Don't water down your worth to fit into old molds. Chosen one. The shift you've been praying for is already in motion, and tonight was a checkpoint, a divine reminder that your glow is too precious for compromise. So, if this message resonated, if it stirred something in your soul, comment "I'm aligned" below. Drop 88888. If you're stepping into spiritual abundance, type "I am the frequency" if you're claiming your energy back for good. And don't forget to subscribe, not just to this channel, but to the version of you that knows how sacred your energy truly is. Stay hidden, stay powerful, stay wise. We'll meet again in the next transmission. And until then, protect your frequency like your future depends on it. Because, chosen one, it absolutely does.